Today's DIY project is a simple and budget-friendly bed frame. Let's start with the material list. You'll need 3 2x6 and 2 2x3, all of them being 8 feet long. A slatted bed base kit. This one is from IKEA. It was cheaper than buying 2x3s. Also needed for this bed frame, some wood stain of the color of your choice, some 2.5 inches construction screw, and some black 3.5 inches structural wood screws. The complete list of the material needed for this bed frame is available in the video's description. First step is to cut the wood at the right length. And as you can see, some pieces are far from perfect. But in this case, we only need 75 inches of the 96 inches. So we'll cut that damaged part. To cut those pieces, I'm using a circular saw. This build requires only basic tool since it's a simple and basic bed frame. And I know, some will say, those DeWalt tools are not budget friendly, but you can do the same with the cheapest tool brand available on the market. Here's the final dimension of all the pieces for this bed frame build. Let's start the build with the 242 inches long 2x6. I'm going to assemble the fourth side of the bed frame using the black structural wood screw. To make sure the wood doesn't split, I'm marking each end of the 2x6 at 3/4 of an inch of the edge, and then I'm drilling some pilot holes. And I repeat this process at each end of the 2x6. Once the holes are drilled in the 42 inches long 2x6, I can assemble them to the 75 inch long 2x6. Those 4 2x6 will make the fourth side of the bed frame. I'm assembling them using some corner clamp, and while those clamps are not required, they are really helpful for this project. I make sure to align perfectly both 2x6, then I tighten the clamp to secure the two pieces together. Then, I'm using the pilot holes we've just drilled in the 42 inches long 2x6 to make some pilot holes in the end of the 75 inches long 2x6. And now I can go ahead and screw the black structural wood screw in place to secure both 2x6 together. And I'm repeating this process for all 4 corners of the bed frame. Once the 4 sides are assembled, it's time to sand those pieces. I start by sanding with a palm sander on all the flat surface, and then I switch to a sanding sponge to round all the corners of the frame. It's now the time to stain the frame. I'm doing 2 coats using some charcoal interior 1-step stain and varnish from the company SAMAN. The next step consists of installing the 2x3 that will support the wooden slat for the mattress. I'm using a countersink drill bit to drill some pilot holes, then I screw in place the 2x3 using some 2.5 inch construction screw. I repeat this process for both sides of the bed frame. Now for the legs. I'm using some black metal legs that I bought on Amazon. Those are really easy to install, and to make this process even easier, I'm using a self-centered drill bit to drill pilot holes perfectly centered in the center of the legs hole. That way, I know the legs won't move when I put the screw in. I repeat the same process for all 4 legs of the bed frame. Last step is to install the wooden slat. I bought a kit at IKEA. It was cheaper and faster than using 1x3. Plus, they have a strap to keep them at the same distance from each other. That said, they can all move to the center. So to prevent this, I'm adding 2 screws at each end to make sure they all stay in place. And our bed frame build is done. I did this build for someone else, so time to ship it into its new home. It's not that heavy and it can easily be transported by one person, in this case, me. I also added a RGB LED strip under the frame, added the mattress and the bedsheet. And that concludes our bed frame build video. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I also listed the link for the free plan and material list in the description of this video. See you next time.